Welcome back to the Stache Club Wrestling Podcast, episode 123. Apparently, I'm your host, John. I'm joined today again by Jimmy from the queue over to my left. Jimmy! Little KO fit.
I mean, I would introduce myself.
Apologies.
But you already know who I am. And if anyone out there doesn't know who I am, well, quite frankly, it's not worth my time. Shout out Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens show, Stache Club Wrestling.
Hell yeah.
I never want to hear the people say, I'm not for the people.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? We saw the comments.
I've heard the comments. I've seen the comments. Kevin Owens from the jump. And honestly, I don't see it. But I'm in the guard today. I'm ready to go.
I think it's literally because like you have like his similar haircut from like, I guess he still kind of has it, but like he used to have it like a little short or whatever. I think like that's, and you're just like a white guy with a beard, and then
it works. And I was on the train this morning looking like this. I got some looks.
Oh,
some people were
funny.
like, "Is this guy actually like a wrestler? Or what's
going on? Yeah, you're on your
here?
way to your MMA fight or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you have the tape or did you buy the tape?
I bought the tape. I bought the tape, and actually I'm kind of losing feeling my fingers a little bit. It looks a little tight.
It looks a little tight.
But you know, I'm all for it. You know, pop up power bombs, turning my back on my friends, all that stuff. You know,
You only got the championship because you were just handed it by the boss man.
Yeah, that was actually pretty sick.
Yep.
I love Kevin Owens. Shout out KO. But yeah, what a week of wrestling, my friend.
Man, we got so much to talk about. We really do. We're gonna go through. I don't even have like the only thing I have like on SmackDown, to be honest with you, is like that ending segment. SmackDown's we talk about every week. Man, SmackDown's been struggling.
Yes.
We got that an electric Raw last night, but it's been a controversial week in terms of just opinions and thoughts and think pieces. So we're gonna dive all the way into it. Before we do though. A couple plugs off the bat. First of all, please make sure you subscribe, leave your likes, leave your comments, turn the bell for notifications so you know when we post. Patreon.com/Dash Club Wrestling for a bonus wrestling Q&A podcast over there. And we have merchandise in the description. And a new thing, we have a Fanatics affiliate link. So if you're looking, I think it should be in there at this point. I'm not sure. But if you want to pick up some new WWE gear for WrestleMania or just in general, whatever, please use our Fanatics affiliate link in the description. It's a great way to support the show. We appreciate it. With that said,
maybe we get some DXXL merch.
There's gotta be something.
I mean, Sophie, maybe you can make the little cartoon DX shirt from like 06. Kind of maybe draw us a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Copyright might be bad.
There was like one comment that like made that joke, more like D double XL or whatever, and I almost commented like he made that joke. He said it first.
That was actually the only improv too. I actually thought about the other ones, and that one like I was like, oh wait, that'd be kind of funny. So
the XL was good on the spot.
That was a good one.
All right, let's dive right in. We are starting, and I'm buckled in for CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins. They were announced on SmackDown to be the main event of Night 1 at WrestleMania. There's a few think pieces here. There's a few discussion points. I think we're gonna start. I'm gonna kind of talk about what Heyman said. We'll talk about it as the main event in general, and then like I said, there's a few things to bounce off from there. But so they're all chatting. Roman and Punk have great comedic chemistry. Punk's reading the contract. He's just like, hey, what are you doing? And they have a funny back and forth. I love when Roman is just like silly. So Heyman tells Punk in a really emotional moment, he's like, it's in there. Don't worry. You're closing the show. CM Punk, you are going to live your dream of dreams, he says, and you are going to be a Mania main eventer. Punk looked just genuine. I mean, obviously, I think he knew. You know what I mean? It's hard to have that segment without knowing, but he's still very emotionally moved. He was tearing up. Seth Rollins is losing his mind. He's not even happy he's getting the spot because Punk's getting the spot. But then Punk says, that wasn't the favor. So before we get to anything else, just this in general, this segment in general, I liked it. I'm happy for them. They're getting the spot. I think, that as much as other people might deserve it, they also deserve it. They are three of the biggest names in the company. Also, what could the favor be at this point? I know every podcast and their mother at this point is saying the same thing, but what's the favor?
That's the $1 million question. What could be the favor? I mean, I would imagine it's, at the show of shows at Mania, we'll see Heyman fully come out and support Punk over Roman Reigns. I mean, even in that,
I think so.
Even in that segment too, you see when Roman asked Punk to don't kind of mouthing the words don't, which like I kind of took it as initially like don't do what I think you're about to do and drop a pipe bomb on Roman, right?
Yeah.
But it was also maybe like don't acknowledge him, like kind of like, you know, hinting like don't do that, don't lower yourself almost, which like lower yourself, like you're the wise man. Like,
that's kind of what I saw initially, like that don't was so whatever it was protective of Punk, and he's still so much like in Punk's corner. And I've seen speculation of like, does Paul Heyman side with Seth Rollins at Mania?
Yep.
You had a point last week of and up until now, admittedly, I thought like, oh, there's no world, this is crazy. But if the favor ends up being something along the lines of whoever wins that match at night 1 goes on to like join the match at night 2, whatever. I still prefer Cody and Cena straight up one-on-one, but it does lend to the argument a little more of this main eventing over a world title match if there's some implication or stake, like if you win, you get this, or you know, has implications for the next night or whatever. Sure. Which again, we'll kind of talk about, you know, pros and cons of you know, it main eventing in a little bit. But yeah, I at this point I have no idea what the favor is. It would have been pretty cut and dry and easy of them, and you know, I'm glad they're not taking the easy road of them just like, oh, the favor's the main event and like that's it, whatever. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of taking my time to make sure we get to everything. So I don't know. Is there anything else? How do you feel about this overall, like main eventing? How do you feel about this triple threat being official? Obviously, like I said, there's no stakes, there's no world title as of now. We still have some weeks to go. But I think, regardless of what people have, you know, we've been on Twitter for the past week or whatever. I'm happy for the three of them. Like it's gonna be cool. You know?
Oh, absolutely. And I think for sure now, like, it's shut down, like, you know, the idea of, you know, whoever wins night 1 will join a world championship match night 2, because now we have Jay and Gunther, very established. They lit a fire on this past week's Raw. Now I'm definitely interested in just them two having a match. And I think Cena and Cody are locked in. Yeah. I still think definitely important where the favorite could be just in the contract or what have you, have this be at Backlash. The winner of the triple threat match will face a champion at Backlash. I mean, that's not as exciting of a thing as if it's for the favor, right? But I think it's important that hopefully there's some stakes to this main event triple threat match. Anyone that is like super upset about this main eventing,
here we go.
You have to look in the mirrr. These are 3 megastars in Punk and I'm sorry, no, Rollins and Reigns main evented both nights last year. And I think the only other match that could have main evented night 1 is Rhea, Io, and Bianca. But you know, the thing is about them and their storyline, I think it hasn't been too polished or powerful. I think it's just. And actually, and it hasn't been confirmed yet. You know, we don't know if it's going to be a triple threat match yet. I mean, I
haven't really been getting ahead of myself in terms of like it's already a booked match. But you're right, we're still building.
We just had a world title match where Bianca Belair had the double DQ. So you know, we don't know what's the future. We kind of do, but with that being said, you know, these women are. I think it will be the match of the weekend. And I think Io Sky is going to win. And I think what with, you know, maybe them being, if they take it as it, so I don't know how they're feeling, if they're slighted about not getting the main event. But I tell you what, if it lights a fire under their asses and they produce now probably the best match and the work rate goes up and they go out there and want to steal the show, they will do that. They'll Triple H will be like, damn, I should have probably put that in the main event if it's the match I think it's going to be.
Yeah, that was my initial discourse of, you know, I did tweet out, which maybe a little harshly. I put Rhea, Bianca, Io got screwed.
You were in the trenches, my friend.
A little bit.
I was laughing.
As much as I say this every single week, but as much as I don't want this podcast to just be like, here's what we said on Twitter, and here's what, you know, I don't want this podcast to be just defending us on Twitter. Yeah, it's what it ends up being a lot of the time.
Oh, of course.
But
I mean, especially when you had that many interactions on the tweet. You know I mean, that was it's a thing of contention right now.
I'm kind of I'm in the middle. I'm pretty I'm more so like 60-40 in favor of like Bianca, Rhea, Io. Because there's a lot of like, and I'm not saying a lot of these are my original conversations, but you know, I've seen a lot of conversations of what else do the women have to do? Like they're in a world title match. It's 3 of the biggest stars. I think a point that I want to bring up, which I agree with you, Punk, Rollins, and Punk are 3 of the biggest stars in the company, 3 of the biggest stars in wrestling, period. And people took that as an opportunity to really discredit and ignore the star power that is Io, Rhea, Bianca. Sure, maybe they're not at the popularity level as a Roman or a Punk, but Rhea Ripley has absolutely broken through in the mainstream. Sure. Like all my friends that I talk to, you know, like women, men, whatever, that mostly women, to be honest with you, that are outside of the wrestling sphere, they like Rhea Ripley is everywhere on Instagram and everywhere on like, you know, have you seen this like, you know, goth like wrestler, like whatever.
They will write books in the future about how show Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she's like she's so sick, and like she has this look, and she obviously plays into it. That really, you know, like I said, bounces off the page in terms of the mainstream.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it was crazy. Like sure, like yeah, I don't know if this is. I'm curious what you think. I don't know if this is a take or whatever. But in the mainstream, I would argue Rhea Ripley is leaps and bounds more popular than CM Punk.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think the only one you would make the argument against is Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth for sure.
I think Seth for sure. I think Seth for sure. CM Punk.
I don't know how many like casual people like, and granted, like a lot of people like watch wrestling as a kid, so I remember CM Punk.
Right.
But I'm curious. I would bet that if you just said to someone outside of wrestling who never watched wrestling, has nothing about it, I bet they would more quickly recognize Rhea than CM Punk. That's my guess.
Yeah, I don't think that's a crazy take at all. I can definitely see it either way, and I could be wrong. But I also think, you know, just the fact that Punk's been in the limelight for so much longer.
Sure.
The UFC,
a lot of headlines.
The UFC stint, and his other projects too, which, you know, hats off to Punk.
Like I said, I don't know if that was a crazy. I'm aware of what I said.
I'm with you. It's just you know, there's a man in there, our tribal chief.
Right. I mean, he's in Moana too. He's as a thing.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah,
you know.
And I don't know if you know who runs the company. It's Dwayne Johnson. So that probably had a huge part to it. But I mean, I can definitely understand and accept people being upset about the women not getting the main event. But also, I think you can't be so up in arms and smashing the table because of look at those 3 guys.
Yeah,
those are it's a huge match. And of course, I also will throw my hat into the bad take ring, or if you want to call it a bad take, because again, it's something I believe.
Are you talking about the main event?
I'm talking about
No, yeah. I still got a lot on this.
I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, because we're gonna don't worry, we'll dive back in because I've refined my take. Not that I've changed it, but I've added ammo to the fire, I guess is what I should say.
Let's go.
Yeah, another thing that people are like, which this I agree with is, and I kind of briefly mentioned it before, is there's so many other world titles. Jey Uso, Gunther. Not that I'm saying Jey Uso, Gunther has the build, especially before this week, to main event. But one, I mean, that match has 2 things going for it. One, it has a Royal Rumble winner, which they touted. The Royal Rumble winner goes on to main event the Royal Mania. Neither of that is happening.
0 for 2.
No other. I would argue that the women's world title with Io is the second biggest world title in the company at this point. Like if we're I think the closest is that Jey Gunther. But if you look, you know, that people have been hating on and not loving this Jey Gunther build, I'd say up until right now.
Yeah.
Gunther really hasn't nearly been the Gunther sort of champion as he was with the IC belt. I think like Io, Rhea, Bianca in terms of world title builds have her and them in the Gunther Jey feud are now fighting, but I think they were above them for a while, above Jey Gunther. I don't know, and it's also just my like old school thinking of like world titles are important. World titles should mean something. Sure, even if like the star, let's say, you know, I'll bend the knee at the star power thing, and let's say because a lot of people were given the argument of like, well, if Rhea, Bianca, Io are so good and so talented, you can have a banger of a match on the middle of the card. Like you can have a star power in the middle of the card. Undertaker versus Shawn wasn't the main event, but it's the same argument where it's like, well, if that's arguments for the women, the argument's for the men. and the men don't even have a world title. So put them in the fucking middle of the card and have them, dance and put on a banger.
That's true.
So yeah, I think, like I said, my whole point is less of like this should. It's been disappointing to see how discredited the women have been just because this men got the spot. And there's so much reasoning and logic and wrestling history to back up why they should have been in the main event. But again, I definitely also am aware that it is a hard sell to put anyone over a match that contains Roman, Punk, Seth.
I know what I mean? Completely agree with you, and I'm hearing you out. I think too, it might be kind of a decision to keep them off because they've been wrestling on free TV, if you will, or just on Raw. We've seen just
a good point.
Just recently Rhea versus Io in a match, and then Bianca's been involved. And the thing about, if anything, that could work both ways. Though you can argue like they've earned it. They're showing up every week. Roman Reigns is on a private jet, but there's a whole thing of that kind of aligns with the whole star power.
There's a little
thing.
bit more mystique.
It's an attraction, and two, like if you were, I don't think that would ever be the case because if you're a true WWE fan forking over money to go to WrestleMania Las Vegas, like I don't think you would leave early. Night one, if you weren't super interested in the three-way women's match, and like if you'd already seen Punk, Rollins, and Reigns.
If you're leaving early for that women's triple threat, you don't like wrestling. You don't like wrestling, and you hate women.
Right. And
good for you.
Yeah. And the thing too, I think my girl Io is going to retain. And I know some people kind of booed me for saying this, but I think the fact that her retaining would factor in like, oh, do you want this in the main event? Because out of the three women, she's I'd say the smallest star. But she has, again, a lot to gain from this rivalry, and I think she will succeed and prove to be the best women's champion on the roster available right now. So I think this could be her moment, but it is what it is.
And even just like seeing, it's like I thought that match last night was awesome, and the three of them, especially hitting each other with moves. The closing wasn't awesome.
It was a little clunky too.
A little clunky. Yeah. But I think they showed, and the crowd was hot, and obviously it's a London crowd, whatever. But like after that main event last night, like my first thought was like, oh, they could absolutely close the show. Still not being annoying and like still fighting for it. I think things are what they are. But after that, I was like, they just closed Raw. It was a banger. Sure, they might have to polish up some stuff, but like they're also professionals and they pivoted in the match to like make stuff a little better. But like if Rhea and Io already tore the house down, you add Bianca in that triple threat, like they more than showed that like, oh, you put that at the end of Mania and it's fully fledged out and it's the triple threat.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I'm gunning for Io. Yeah. I want Io to retain so bad.
I will say though, I'm starting a petition for Bianca Belair to referee every single match.
She rocked. She was good,
and I love the details of her making her own gear, which I think is a very slept on.
It was
feature.
very like Shawn Michaels, special guest referee.
Looking great, $1 million.
She called it right down the line. She dragged. We'll talk more about it. But she dragged people off and whatever.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I guess that's. Let me see. I have other notes. Let me make sure I got. Let's see. They got the spot over at Roman. Yeah, world title. That's kind of my. Yeah, I think I said all I need to say. If I think of anything, but like I said, I want to take the time to. The women have been discredited and didn't get the credit they deserve just because of like, oh well, it's Punk, Roman, and Seth. Well, of course, and just like people are so quickly to breeze over the fact that like one, it's a world title. Two, like they're three of the most talented women in the company. They're so popular. Like again, I think people are really discrediting how popular Rhea Ripley is because in the wrestling bubble. Punk is the most popular, it's him and Roman are of like the six people, you know what I mean? But like, if you look outside the wrestling bubble, which is a different argument in itself, because is that important in terms of a wrestling show? I don't know. That's what people were arguing.
I'd be curious too if like any of the egos came into play, because again, like I mentioned earlier,
like of the wrestlers. I
know Rollins and Reigns are coming off of last year where they main evented both nights. They want to keep that quote unquote spot. Maybe they had 2 cents in. I think Punk though. I mean, I know he's desperate to get this main event, maybe for shoot and storyline purposes, but I think too Punk's character in real life. I feel like he would hear the criticisms of the women not main eventing and maybe would give up that spot because he's kind of an outspoken feminist, right? And yeah, well, it's just so hard to me because the night one main event, it is what it is.
And we can, and I think we can segue right into the second discussion point where CM Punk will be a WrestleMania main eventer for night one.
In parentheses, and as a true punker too. This it's starting to sting a little bit. I'm seeing some discourse, and I kind of agree with. But again, a huge Punk fan. You know, I immediately draw back to when I was watching AEW, the classic line of it's him to MJF, like, oh, you're gonna main event a buy one get one free extravaganza. And and I guess I get it. You know, people say things to pop the crowd. I'm sure you can go back and see a bunch of hypocrisies from a bunch of wrestlers. But then of course I've seen what's the CM stand for? Corporate
mate or something.
Corporate, I forget what it was, but I'm like, and then there's a thing where Punk put out some press of like, me and Triple H have a lot in common. Like, where is this coming from, man? Where's the renegade? You know,
like, believe me, I like Punk. I've enjoyed his later work more than I have his early work, admittedly. Well, I don't know if that's true. I just kind of forget my opinions as a kid. But I enjoyed him in AEW. I'm loving his run. It was so unfortunate he got injured at the Rumble this past Rumble.
Yep.
Or not this past Rumble, the Rumble before.
Right.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine to also see him as like he's a guy that's getting older, and he's a little bit of a hypocrite, which is fine. And again, and you know, like you said, it's shoot versus what's real. He did for 8 years go on podcasts shitting on the WWE. That seemed pretty real.
Yep.
But also, money's money, dreams are dreams. Like I understand both ways. Nobody's perfect.
Another man's dream is another man's favorite check. Oh, my boy Roman with a zinger. That was gold. I love that.
My initial take is, sure, I'm happy for him. I'm great. It plays into the story of he gets the Mania main event. I also saw some conversation of it doesn't make sense for Punk's character because he wouldn't want to just be handed this main event. He would want to earn it, which I also agree with. True. I think that's even Punk in real life. He wouldn't want it earned or like whatever. So that's a little iffy. But I think, this whole thing, I want the Mania main event. I want the Mania event. Which main event did you really want?
Oh yeah.
Where would you have rather been? And I get, I'm pretty close to. I said this off mic, but I'm pretty close to bending the knee and at least because when I refer to it, I still say night one main event. Like I still call it that. Sure, I'm pretty close to bending the knee at being like, sure, main event. But you're lying to yourself. You're lying to me. You're lying to yourself. And you're delusional. If you think, respectfully, that the night two main event and the night one main event are equal, because they're sure. It's the discourse I've seen, or the phrasing I should say that I agree with is a main event versus the main event.
Thank you. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then people are like, oh, well, a music festival. It's not the same argument. They're different things. Music festivals are curated, so it's like one show. My take. Sorry, I feel like I've gone on.
I mean, if anything, call it WrestleMania 41 and 42. Then if that's where that's where we're at.
I think I figured out where the split is with this conversation, or with this I don't divide, whatever. People who are defending it as like, no, like that's a night one like main event, and that's just as big as a night two main event, and they're both headlining and like comparing it to like music festivals and and there's one argument that I see a lot of where it's someone's like, well, if I buy a ticket to night one and not night two, did I not see a main event? And my argument to that is like, correct. Like, yeah, you're the one that bought one ticket.
Yeah.
But to get to my point, WrestleMania, to my knowledge, got split into two nights for two reasons. One, the obvious reason, capitalism, more money, like doubling their fucking money, right?
Yep.
But also, before they split, WrestleMania was like 10 hours long.
Truth.
10 hours long,
it was
right?
A problem.
To me, and I again, this isn't like fact or anything. This is what I've seen, what I've believed is the reason for the split, is because it got so big that eventually it would have been like a 14-hour show. And they're like, we physically cannot contain this to one night anymore. The card's too massive, where it's too big of a show. There's too many stars. We want to fit too many people on it. We physically have to split it into 2 nights. So that's why and I think many people have always been like, oh, it is one show, but it's too big to physically have in one night, so I have to split it. So I think the difference that people are seeing is that thinking of, oh, it's one night split into 2 because it's physically too big and and it's all just like, sure, it's built up. So like, obviously you want night 1 to end on a bang. Like, sure, they're going to structure the card like that.
Yeah.
But then the other side sees the split as, oh, it is now 2 shows. Night 1 is its own start to finish show and should be judged separately. And admittedly, on like award shows and for the Stashies as well, like it did get separated. So I think that's the overall discourse or I keep using the word discourse, divide of what was the reason for the split. Did the split equal one long show split, or did it equal creating 2 different shows?
Right.
I think that's where the difference lies.
And there is too much to gain for them to do this, right? And also too, with the more money, what you just said, for all the reasons. Also too, like, look at it, now we have an opportunity to give this prestigious honor to wrestlers that may have not had any chance in freaking hell of main eventing WrestleMania. Jimmy Uso, respectfully, if it wasn't for there being 2 nights, like Jimmy Uso, you probably wouldn't have main evented WrestleMania. It's great that you can say that now, technically, because then you look back of since they've done this, which was the first fake Mania. WrestleMania 36. I don't even exactly remember what, because I know Drew and Brock, even though actually afterwards it was Drew and Big Show, but it was a crazy COVID times WrestleMania. So the year after that, you had the triple threat.
Was that the first time they split was in COVID?
I believe so. Yeah. Oh shoot, what was that?
I don't know what that was. What was that? Was that my
WWE
phone?
trying to take us out for going against their propaganda?
My phone. Sorry, that's my phone. It's fine.
Okay. And then, so like I was saying, the triple threat of Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Edge, was definitely, I think, more of an important match over Banks and Bianca. Historically important, Banks and Bianca, 2 women main eventing, and of course 2 black women main eventing. But again, it was not night 1. So maybe, if, in my opinion, that match, if it was so historically significant and important, would have been on night 2. That one you can kind of argue with a bit. After that, though, you have Reigns and Brock over a talk show. WrestleMania 3, I loved the Stone Cold match, but even Steve was smart enough not to like say, "Hey, it's gonna be a match." It was this melee. It was honestly probably one of my favorite WrestleMania moments ever.
Yeah, I love that discourse too. Like, what, you're gonna tell Stone Cold Steve Austin you didn't have a main event? It's like, he didn't close the show. Like, I don't know what to tell you. He didn't. He's in his fucking, was he in his 50s or so, or his late 40s? I don't know what.
And it was advertised as the KO show, talk show. So that damn well they wouldn't have done that for the second night. Yep. And then you have Reigns and Rhodes going back to back Manias over tag team matches, which again, those matches were big time. I think maybe that's one of my favorite tag matches ever. The KO Sammy versus the Usos. Yep. But agreed. Again, it was a tag match with some tag team guys, and you want to throw out there that it's a main event. I respect it.
At least the belts were on the line too.
Yeah, exactly. And the champion, and the Usos were the longest reigning tag champs, and there was a storyline of like the millennium of anything. But again, it's just like, if you find me on the street, I'm a wrestling fan with harsh opinions. You ask me name every WrestleMania main event, I probably could. I'm not gonna acknowledge the night ones, because then I'm gonna make this little annoying little comment of like, parentheses night 1, but again, I acknowledge that I am wrong, because again, WWE says it, the wrestlers say it and believe it, and I think majority of fans will acknowledge that night 1's a true main event. I am happily wrong.
Wow, honestly, I didn't think you were going to end all that with being like, and I'm wrong.
Again, I can read a room and say if 80% of people are saying this is what it is, and I'm
that's the thing. I also don't have like a crazy hard stance. I just think it's like it's a fun discussion, sure. And like I do truly believe in my heart of hearts that like night 1 is not on the same plane as night 2. Or I'm sorry, night 2 is not on the same plane as night 1. Also, and to your credit, I think it's one of my tweets too. In that same logic is like, let's look at this WrestleMania and last WrestleMania. If you think for a second that Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the WWE Championship could be just like interswapped and put on night one. There's no universe where they're on night one. There's no universe where last year Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns in that All Stars booked match are getting put on night one. They're not the same. I think that's at least what like I would maybe appreciate people to at least admit. And I hate to use, and people are using like, you know, the terms consolation main event, participation trophies.
Sure.
Which I agree. But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely less hard pressed on calling it now like a fake main event than I was, but I'm definitely 1,000% still like, well, it didn't close out the weekend. It's not the, you know what I mean?
I'm also a sicko too. I hate that pay-per-view PLEs are going to 2 nights.
Yeah,
I'm a sicko. Give me a 14-hour
yeah.
WrestleMania. It comes once a year. Let me sit on my couch, plop down, and watch 14 hours of WrestleMania. Give me it. I don't care. Put everyone on the card and
you know
let me.
What's funny? I don't know if I agree with that because I do remember like starting that. You get around the 7th hour, you're like
WrestleMania 35 was the last one, and I remember once we finally got to the women's main event, I was quite tired and burnt out.
Yeah.
So I get it, but at the same time, it's once a year. It's what makes it special. Like the fact that I have to plan out 2 nights is, I mean, I'm not even going to the show, and I'm stressed out about it, as you see. So, but now they're going to be doing for the Money in the Bank. Yeah, they're going to be doing that for almost everything. So cash is king. I get it, but god damn it, like
I don't love. I would rather it just be like if you're going to do the 2 nights, just make it WrestleMania. Sure. SummerSlam doesn't need to be like. I know it's a big show, but like I don't know, and also like. I don't know, not to get crazy into it, but like the ticket prices are crazy. Like they're getting to super. I've seen discussions of they're getting to Super Bowl level. It's the same thing that happened with the NFL, where now like football fans are being priced out of watching a football game. And it's like it's crazy.
It's
and now you're not even paying $600, $800 for the whole show. That's one ticket to see a fake main event.
Hey, let's not use that F word.
Sorry. Apologize. Okay. So did we have anything? I know that was kind of like the big discussion points in terms of like.
Yeah, you were in the weeds, my friend. You were going at it on the old internet. I loved it though. Yeah,
but like I said, I think there's points. I think I had some valid points. I think the other side also has valid points. Like, I'm not saying anyone's right or wrong here.
Cool.
I'm just saying. Some people like participation trophies more than others. All right. I think that's it. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at my notes. All right. Let's go to, regardless, I guess let me cap this off. Sometimes I'll like get into these discussions and then people are like, you hate CM Punk. I'm happy. I want to reiterate, happy for Punk, Roman, Seth. Wish there was a world title involved. But it's cool that Punk's getting that spot. And happy for these men. They're great. But the women also deserve the nod. I guess that's my closing argument.
And so much for main event Jey Uso.
That's
That's tough.
It's funny. I was watching Raw last night and like they replayed last week's segment of Jimmy like hyping him up. He's like, we need main event Jey Uso. And it's like, well, I don't know if you're still getting main event Jey Uso.
And the thing is, there's 2 of them. So what's really your excuse?
Yeah. I mean, like that was my, not to like go back into it. Like that was my like whole point of like sure, the my old school thinking of it is like let's just take Jay Gunther for example. Jay Gunther compared to Punk, Roman, Seth. There's a clear which one's the bigger match, right? But the bigger match didn't always get the main event. The bigger match wasn't always the world title. You put that fucking world title above any of those matches.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's my
I wish they would respect the world title, because my biggest thing with the world heavyweight title is like, oh, this feels a mid card. This feels a mid card, and what better way to reverse that? Reverse that by putting it in one of the main events.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But
all right, I could keep going for the whole show on this. I really could, but. Before we get into Raw, something fun that was announced is matches will now be inducted into the Hall of Fame. The first one will be Stone Cold versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania. Was it 15 or 13? 13. Stone Cold versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 13, the first inductee to the Hall of Fame as this is cool. I love this. There's so many fucking matches that's like need to be in it. I imagine they're doing one a year, so it's gonna be really. Oh, this word, not frustrating. Like every single year, it's like, Fuck.
Do you think it's
Undertaker,
only gonna be,
Shawn still didn't.
Do you think it's only going to be WrestleMania matches? I'd hope not.
Oh, I didn't even think.
I just
of
thought
that.
of that myself. I'm like, wait, like, I wonder if it's only going to be WrestleMania matches. You'd think for the first few, maybe, but then once you start getting
First
into
few
your bag,
makes sense. I hope not, because there's like obviously there's so many bangers like in the calendar year.
Sure.
And I think obviously you're gonna have to like you're gonna get all like the crazy like Hogan Andre is gonna be next year. That's my if I had to put money on it.
Yeah.
You could do. I mean. Hollywood, Hogan, Rock, all 2 or 3 of Rock and Stone Cold. WrestleMania 17, Rock, Stone Cold.
Yeah.
But like I even want like non-title mid-card ones. Like I was like I rewatched it this weekend. My favorite match of all time, Undertaker Shawn at 25. I want that to go in. The Taker Triple H Hell in a Cell should go in. I even want like it'd be so sick if they start doing deep cuts. Like put Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn at NXT Takeover in there.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
That would
like,
be crazy.
That would rock.
I mean, definitely like years down the line, like for those especially deep cut matches.
Right.
But like, I just love the opportunity to I mean, Stone Cold and Bret Hart have been in the Hall of Fame since I think Bret was like I think both like 05, 06 they got into the Hall of Fame, and now they have another chance to get thrown into the limelight, get their flowers.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful thing. And that match too really set off like it probably. Historically speaking, one of the most important matches ever.
Yeah.
The double turn and just an absolute banger of a match. It's very fitting that's the first match. Like kind of shocked that it wasn't Hogan and Andre, but
I was shocked. I mean, that seams like the obvious easy one, but
Right.
like this is like the wrestlers. What am I trying to say? Your favorite wrestler's favorite match. Sure, like one of those things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like it's like the iconic image of him in the sharpshooter with the blood. Really cool induction. I'm excited to kind of see how they keep like flushing this out over the years, and it's cool. What else would you? I named a few. Is there something like on the top of your head that like, I hope this goes in?
Shawn versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania.
Ooh, cool, good one.
If you speak on the topic of Kurt Angle versus the Undertaker, No Way Out. Maybe that probably wouldn't make it.
But I like that deep cut.
But it's a deep cut.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like that.
It was on like I think that was a SmackDown exclusive
Yep.
pay-per-view, and it was an incredible match. The TLC matches with the Hardy Boys, and I think they're all. I mean, actually, no, the Edge and Christian are busy being all elite, so that would be tough. But down the line, there's a long extended future going down.
Is Edge is in the Hall of Fame, isn't he? Or is he not in the Hall of Fame?
I think he's in the Hall of Fame, but I'm saying like he won't be able to
I get what
show
you're
up to receive the award. Even though they won all 3 matches, which Jesus Christ, wow, we're putting
that's so crazy
putting
to
the
think
rocket
about.
on their back. Yeah, it's
wow,
like damn, like
Jesus Christ,
the Dudley Boys and Hardy Boys couldn't catch a break. But yeah, those matches deserve to be up there because those really got like fans that weren't ever it's such a
change the game
and like fans that aren't even fans of the traditional pro wrestling style. This is crash course extreme.
Yeah,
like oh my god, like
it's one of those matches where like the question always comes up of like what's one match you're gonna show a non-wrestling fan to get them into it, and like one of those TLC matches is always in the conversation. All right, what say you? I got about a page and a half of notes for this Cena Cody promo. What say you we dive into this?
Let's go.
All right, I got a lot of stuff. I think we'll kind of just we'll go through some notes, pause and keep going, whatever. But Cena comes out before he can get a word in. Cody comes out, which I love. Like this is the first like 2 of them. Neither started before each other promo battle, because the other one had been like Cena promos. Cody comes out in defense. This is a promo battle. Cody starts out kind of like undermining himself, doing the old like the battle rapper thing where like you take your disses before you tell the person your disses or make your disses known. Very 8 Mile, like Eminem 8 Mile.
I am white. Like, I am a bum. I do live in a trailer with my mom.
First thing I thought of.
Oh hell yeah, Cody! Give him nothing to rag you about.
So he's like you can make fun of me for my lisp. You can make fun of me for Stardust. I have an arm tattoo, but it's on my neck. I got booed in the company I created, which is the first of maybe 3 times AEW gets a nod during this.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Let's see. Cody says he knows Cena. We rode together. I know you care about the fans. What's the real reason you turned? What's the real why? Cena says, I thought this was when he was going to say nice speech. I thought nice speech was coming.
I was fizzing for it. I needed it so
Instead,
bad.
he got close and he said, I'm not going to punch down to your level. I'm not going to meet you there, Cody. I'm not going to punch down just to protect you. He goes, I'm not going to cook you. I'm going to bury you. Just like I buried everyone else. Like everyone else has been saying for years.
Damn.
His delivery on this whole promo. Sure, he's been doing good heel work these past 2 weeks, calling out the kids, saying you're making this so easy, whatever. But this is where we got the most intensity and that like Cena emphasis on words, where he's like, bury you, and it's working so well as a heel. He goes, I don't bury talent. I am talent. I bury mediocrity.
Who do you think you are? I am.
Literally. Your ego outmatches your ability, he says to Cody. Okay, well let's pause there, and then because there's some more back and forth, but so far, how are you liking this the back and forth? Where are you now? You said you watched like 3 times. Where are you at this point? After Cena's first couple blows, and you're like, whoa, oh shit, you know?
I mean, like I said, like you mentioned, I've watched it 3 times now. The first time, I think I had my Cody goggles on because I don't want to get ahead because we have a lot more to discuss and to tell what was said. But I truly thought like, yo, Cody cooked this guy. What do you like?
Wow.
None of what Cena said to me was actually true. This is me the first time I watched it, and I was just like perplexed about. I love the strategy for Cody doing the whole 8 Mile shtick and giving Cena like, hey, here's a low hanging fruit, and Cena didn't take it because Cena really went into stuff that with such conviction, and like you said, the intensity. That's the key word of what Cena was saying. But a lot of Cena's, in my opinion, disses to Cody weren't actually true. I think Cody is authentic. I think Cody is more than an entrance and crowd chants, which looking at other wrestlers that applied to Jey Uso. I'm looking at you, Seth Rollins. No, but it was effective and definitely got me fired up.
Yeah,
the fan tattoo, like the whole the tattoo meaning you're just a common fan, kind of like fell flat on me a little bit. I was like,
oh, that's funny. I like that.
You like that?
I liked it because it's such a heel move, but it put Cody. Because Cody is so much like, I am one of the fans, I am whatever, and it puts Cena of like, oh, you're at that level? Go be at that level. Like you're a fan, you don't belong in this ring because I'm not a fan. I am the talent. And if you're stepping down to their level and and also it's he does have a point where he did get his own logo tattooed on his neck. And
I think what the story was, it was supposed to be a lot smaller, but
I heard that,
and that was definitely a catalyst of why the crowd in AEW turned on him, because again that ego, and the chauffeur line really popped me, because something about chauffeurs. The classic. I just think of the classic chauffeur with the hat.
Yeah.
And I made a meme of Cody with the hat. And
funny.
Yeah, and it's like I thought that was so this is Cena's why is. He looks at what the company that he helped, get to these level, and he sees his chauffeur, his protege, some guy that, he did look at for a bit as Stardust, now in the world title spot at WrestleMania. So that's Cena's why, you would say.
I love every single week Cena kind of dipping into something from his past, or dipping into like a chant or whatever. Like, a few weeks ago it was like him getting booed and him needing to change like basic thugonomics, the "you can't see me" chant. This week was people saying you bury people. Like bury was like the big part of it. Him using that as ammo, I thought was really smart. To add more quotes here, Cena, like you said, Cena calls Cody his chauffeur, which is really like interesting to tell the story of that. They were used to ride together and things like that. Cena says Cody is too polished. He's too cookie cutter. He's lazy. He's cheap. He's fake. Cena is mad that Cody is holding the title that he worked so hard to make mean something and be glamorous. Cena says Cody is an ego-driven nepo baby that doesn't deserve any of what he has. Basically saying like, you've had the easy road. You didn't earn it. Like I earned it. I worked hard. like you were saying, calls Cody a common fan because of the neck tattoo on him. Cena wants to expose Cody as, quote, an errand boy that got lucky.
Jesus.
He went crazy. Let's see. Cody, sorry, a lot of notes. Cody says that like maybe he is the chosen one. Maybe, whatever. But oh my God. He goes, I forgot about this line. He goes, sure, maybe I was handpicked, maybe I was chosen, but they chose me. Oof. The fans chose me. You were chose by some boss in a suit that we don't mention anymore.
Not allowed to mention anymore.
Oh my God.
I wonder why. Jeez.
Oh my fire.
What happened to that boy?
So fucking good.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the whole Cody, you're too perfect, or Cody, like, he mentioned that Cody, like, has taken from all the people that he watches growing up in TV shows. Like, what do you think that was alluding to? Like, the whole, like, Homelander thing? Or, like, is he trying to be like Ric Flair at the suits? Like, do you think, do you see what Cena's point was?
I think what his point was, or at least his attempt at a diss was, like, people call him Homelander Cody with the look. He is, which I don't think this is a bad thing at all, because he is the create a wrestler. If you took Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, you could take AEW guys like Bullet Club influence and like Kenny and all them.
Sick-ass wrestler, if you ask me.
That's the thing. It's all like, I get what Cena was trying to do in terms of like, you're not original and you're fake. Okay. But he's like, but in which I think, because a lot of what you were saying is you maybe didn't believe Cena or whatever. I think this was like a big example of Cena trying to diss Cody and trying to use this as a diss. But that's something Cody's so prideful about, is I'm the best parts of people who made me be who I am. And and he doesn't take that as offense, while in Cena's eyes he's like, you aren't original, I'm a self-made whatever. I get where he's coming from, but I agree. I think that was an instance that was like Cody had a good rebuttal, or a good like, ooh, I'm still on Cody's side. Like, it's a good diss, but
yeah,
it didn't have as much like weight to me. Calls Cena the company creation. He's because that was kind of like, he's like, not me, you're the whatever.
I wish he said the prototype.
You know what I mean?
I
wish funny.
I wish he said that.
Yeah, that would have been a goal. I didn't even think of that.
Right.
He says this. I don't know what he meant by this, but he goes, you had more dick in that promo you just cut than you have in those jorts.
Right. So again, my thing of that was, maybe Cody, again, when you're in the locker room, a team setting, and you go with years and years of that team setting, like, maybe he knows something about Cena's. Little Cena.
Maybe he caught a glimpse.
Maybe he caught a glimpse in the shower. When you're in the show for, obviously, like, maybe woman of the night. Maybe Cody has seen things that many others haven't seen.
We don't know.
That was a crazy diss, though.
Then you have in those jorts.
Yeah. Which, like, it's something to be said that, like, Cody came out firing at the whole 8 Mile. Like, here's all my flaws. Like, you can't touch any of that low hanging fruit. But then Cody, a lot of his disses to Cena were kind of like low hanging, like bad words here and there, kind of cheap pop, but like things that, all were effective for me, because each time he said these things, I was like, oh, right. But like,
yeah, you're right. Cena was digging into Cody's character, and saying his ego, or whatever, and Cody did come back. One of his lines was like, "You have a small dick," and it's kind of just like, what's that have to do with what we're talking about? Right. What's that have to do with why you have that title, you know?
And then bringing up who shall not be named too is kind of a little cheap shot,
For sure.
Maybe it's slowly coming past that, because I forget who's already done this, but I feel like I've heard like the classic, like, who the book, I think for Austin Theory, Daddy isn't home anymore. When Roman was dealing with Austin Theory, he goes, your daddy's in here anymore. And that started a whole bunch of who your daddy chants, because you're not allowed to say Vince on TV anymore. So I think after this, no more of like, oh, the boogeyman, we can't say his name.
I think this was worth it though, because this is like so true.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the Austin Theory thing was a little short lived. He had that like he had that weird, like, he was gonna be like Vince's.
It was
like,
on screen too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think this at least was worth it, cheap pop or not, because it was so true, and it cut a little deep. You know. Cody says the WWE audience that made Cena, Cody says the WWE audience that Cena made uninterested made it easy for Cody to leave and build another more interesting alternative to Cena's product.
A very good point. A very effective point.
And pretty pro AEW, which I thought was really nice. They were allowed to credit where credit's due, this thing was the hottest thing in wrestling for a while, and I helped create it, and I helped start it.
Of course, they will never say the 3 letters.
That's the thing. I think there's one time where, who was it? Was it The Miz had a promo? Was it The Miz? It wasn't The Miz, but someone had a promo where he's like, "Oh, I bet you want me to say the AEW." Oh, and he said it on...
It was Sammy.
It was Sammy.
Yeah,
it was Sammy.
Yep,
good pull. And what Sammy was doing is heel work. And he was just like, "Ooh, I might even say AEW."
I'm sure he probably did get some heat for that too.
Oh, I'm sure.
No bullshit.
Okay. To round this out, Cody finally, after 3 weeks, The Rock gets mentioned.
Thank you.
Finally.
Thank you.
Cody says, between you and I, which one of us sold out to The Rock? And then we finally get Cena's here's finally your why. Well, after a little bit of this, he goes, "John, you're still my hero, but you're a piece of shit."
POS. Did you get to the Zac Efron mention? My boy Zac caught a stray.
I didn't write it down, but I did see the
but then it was I
didn't really get it.
You want to hang out with Zac Efron, and then afterwards he said, right after that he goes, "And be 16." I didn't know if
I didn't get it.
He wants to be with Zac Efron and kind of be a young kid and trying to act lower than his age, or there's something else there. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of reference, High School Musical, I would imagine, but Zac Efron has long grown out of High School Musical Zac Efron, so I kind of didn't get that.
Yeah, that was my confusion of I don't think he was calling him anything crazy, but to me it seemed like, oh, you're hanging out with Zac Efron.
Wishing you were 16.
Wishing you were you think you're in your 40s hanging out with a kid.
Sure.
But also, Zac Efron's not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
He's probably a 30-year-old man or something.
Star.
I didn't super get that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It seemed to fall pretty flat on the crowd as well.
Yeah.
There was the first there's another AEW mention I didn't write down. There was one AEW mention or nod that the crowd didn't really get. It might have been the first one, I forget, but the crowd didn't pop necessarily for it.
I know what you're talking about.
Cena says he works harder than Cody. He never got a handout. Says that Cody has not had to struggle like he has with the audience, and he's never had to fight, and it's always been a battle, whatever arena he goes into. Quote, "Nobody has been worthy enough to put me in the ground," Cena says, "so I did it myself." Cena says he never left because he would always make his situation given great. Whatever gimmick, whatever story, whatever, he would always make it great. Says that Cody had to leave because at his best, he can't wipe Cena's ass.
Woo!
Cena says, this I thought was kind of funny. Cena says, "I make empires for billionaires. All you've ever done is steal money from their kids." Which also
damn.
Also great, you make billionaires richer. Good for you. Oh, cool.
Right? Yeah. Kind of a weird flex there, bro.
It's way cooler to steal money from billionaires.
Yeah, definitely.
I get what he was saying.
Made Cody look cooler. And honestly, the biggest diss, in my opinion, of John Cena in this whole thing was the Tony Khan there. That was kind of
right, sure.
I think this was his biggest, I think that was the last thing I was said before the whole "you can't wrestle" thing started. But he goes, he makes that reference to Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes stealing money from Tony Khan, and that kind of to me when I first watched it, and I had my Cody goggles on, the Cody Rhodes mark, but that was so your biggest diss was the Tony Khan, what the heck?
Yeah, in my head it was also more because stealing from billionaires, I'm not mad at.
Right.
But to me, it was oh, you're you're a snake and you're tricking people into giving you money to start your
whereas
company.
I am a huge star and I'll make billions.
Right. I definitely get it, but zoomed out a little bit, it is just two guys talking about billionaires. It's great, you make billionaires richer. Awesome. Good for you. Cody's final word, like you alluded to, as Cena is leaving the ring, Cena kind of walks out, whatever. He goes, "Never once since I've been in WWE has the audience ever chanted to me, 'You can't wrestle.'" Oh my God, fucking perfect. And again, it's another example of them using real life stuff, real life emotions, attitudes, opinions of the fans. It's similar to Cena saying, I bury people or whatever. The audience did chant, you can't. There's so many pieces of Cena's career that before now was never really brought up because he was always supposed to be pushed as like Vince's guy and the top guy or whatever, that they would never acknowledge like you can't wrestle chants or whatever. So now we're finally acknowledging all the blemishes and the not so Superman sort of stuff about Cena that like, well, there was a time where like, you get criticism for maybe not being as technical of a wrestler. You were this, pushed
Five
here.
moves of doom. The internet was eating this boy alive when he was initially dubbed as the next Hulk Hogan, as the next Superman. So like the criticism was there. And I think too, it definitely ate at him probably in real life too. I mean, I'm sure that was something that, it'd always be super tough to deal with as you're the biggest star in the company. You're trying to put the company in your back, and you're having sold out crowds chant, "You can't wrestle at this guy."
And he seems like he cares about his art form. He really has pride. To me, is what it seems like. Right. So like to hear that is like a.
And it took until I think maybe like the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge for him to really like dive in to be like graps and having great matches with Sami Zayn, Neville, Kevin Owens.
He pulled out a fucking Hurricane Rana against AJ Styles.
Yeah,
or whatever the fuck.
That period of John Cena really like I think eliminated that any chatter of the like, you can't wrestles. Yeah, and he worked hard to get to that point. So
to wrap up the notes here,
I'm sorry, but the facials of John Cena when he put that line out there and like kind of looking at the crowd like no you don't, no you don't. I thought that was great.
There was like one or two. I forget which one specifically. There was one or two lines Cody said that were like some stingers, and they zoomed in on Cena, and I think a little bit was him trying not to crack a smile
because
he was
laughing.
Like.
Yeah, he was laughing.
It was so close.
Yeah, it's tough.
Cena gets back in the ring after that comment to square up. Says no, goes to leave. Tries to hit Cody with a cheap shot. Cody ducks it, hits Cena with a crossroads, and then kisses the too sweet, blows out the Bullet Club gun, points at the Mania sign. Remind me when he first did that. When he went. He first did it like right when he came to WWE.
Okay.
I don't know if it was his on his match at Mania 39 with Seth, but there was a famous moment. And if we don't remember it, the comments will say
I think it was after he won the Rumble and he did it to Roman.
It had to be, right?
And there's some kind of
the first time he won the Rumble.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that's the first time he did a mwah. I think he might have done it in the ring, like after that during a promo or whatever. But I fucking love, and that's what I love so much about Cody when he first came to WWE. He doesn't forget his roots. He, regardless of, sure, he built up AEW, he left it, he got booed out of his own company, but, and again, even goes to Cena's quote unquote diss of Cody being pieces of everyone and him being this wrestler and this person that has taken and been gifted characteristics from everyone in his life, where he still has the elite, the Bullet Club, the Bucks and Kenny in him. It's part of why Cody is who he is today.
Yeah.
There'd be no this Cody Rhodes without the elite, and to still at this point in your career going into your third time main eventing WrestleMania. Mwah. Not forgetting where you came from.
Just to reward your fan base of remembering your own history. And like, it's such a, like you said, it's a great thing that I love about Cody Rhodes and why I'm such a big Cody supporter. I remember being absolutely floored that he came out to Kingdom at WrestleMania 38. Yeah. And I think Vince was still running things too. And he was like the captain of making sure the new identity for a new wrestler, no matter where you just were. So yeah, that to see that was pretty special.
How do you feel about? I was shocked we got physicality here. I was shocked we got physicality. I was shocked we got a crossroads.
Yeah,
you know, duck the punch, hit Cena with a crossroads, laid him out.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was sick.
Holy shit!
Cena went down like a bag of bricks.
Yeah.
It, as a fan, it was tough to see. Because I
as a Cena fan,
as a Cody fan,
okay.
I'm big time. It's amazing to me. I'm probably in the minority of this, but like I'm also a huge John Cena fan. But the WWE has successfully, at least for me, with this heel turn, made me not want John Cena to win 17, especially as a heel.
Isn't that crazy?
And especially at Mania. I think for other Cena fans, they don't care. They don't want 17. They don't care that he's a heel and he thinks they're all stupid. Like, for me, they have done an effective job of making me a John Cena fan, not want John Cena to win. And stick my boy Cody Rhodes. Where I was going with this, it hurt me to see Cody get the upper hand once again, because I'm kind of in the opinion after watching it 2 more times, I would say the promo battle, I think it was sort of even. I think Cody had the bigger crowd reactions again because he had kind of more of the cheaper pops. But now Cody Rhodes, after all these interactions, in my opinion, is 3-0.
Oh wow!
And heading into Mania, because I know allegedly we're not going to get Cena again until Mania. Which then points...
What? Really?
Allegedly, yeah. I'm pretty sure
holy shit.
I think maybe, hopefully, what they're doing is maybe there'll be a surprise appearance at the go-home show where Cena gets an upper hand. Because if not, now we have Cody being 3-0 heading into Mania. And, I know wrestling tropes and usually traditions. Like, for instance, if you set it up, you're going through it. Shout out table spots. I think usually when a main event feud, you see a guy get the upper hand on TV... means that the person that has looked weak. Again, it's crazy to think that John Cena has kind of looked weak. Because again, in my opinion, Cody's 3-0 in these segments. Cena looking weak into Mania means that he might get the dub at WrestleMania. So that's, for me as a Cody fan, that was no, like I wish John Cena got the upper hand in that moment. But at the same time, it was like, yes, let's go Cody. But it's because again, like momentum wise. Cena being at the tail end of his career, not as talented as a wrestler, shoot in for real. Like, how are we gonna justify him beating Cody Rhodes, the guy who's on the top of the company, firing on all cylinders? It's gonna take a lot of, heel theatrics, but it's something I think is gonna happen after seeing this segment.
Yeah, you did say you were in the minority. I do see this way more as, like, to be honest with you, I see it as I don't know. I guess I can't speak as much to the first 2 promos, but in my head, at least, like, the first 2 were so Cena heavy, and then Cody came out the last 3 minutes and said his piece.
Right. But I just mean the way that the story was drawn out. Like Cody's music hit at the end of each of the promos. It was Cena walking away. So
he ended it standing tall.
The way it was storyline wise, I think Cody's always looked stronger, or was kind of the segment ended with Cody was the one that came out on top, in my opinion.
Because in terms of actual I guess if we're looking just in terms of actual substance, to me, I think Cena, promo wise, I think Cena's currently above him in all 3 and just things he said.
Okay.
But you're right in terms of how it's written, how it's presented on TV. Cody stood tall all 3 times. Right. So you're right. That's a fair point. Speaking of that, now I'm a little I loved it. I popped for sure when he hit the crossroads, but sure, we are playing on Cena. Part of the reason why Cena sold his soul, whether he admits it or not, is because he knows he's not Cena of old. He knows he needs help. He's not confident like he used to be, but that's not great when you pair it with him on a crazy losing streak, and he just lost to Solo Sikoa in recent memory, and you don't have that. You haven't had that physical John Cena dominance scene. Yes. So maybe it would have been nice either here or if we get one more.
I'm hoping
Cena needs to hit him with an attitude adjustment or something, and he needs to physically be kind of over Cody. Because
outside of what at the end of the chamber, he hasn't really gotten the upper hand, or it has made me believe that he is a legitimate threat.
Right. That's fair. That's a fair point. I don't know. I'm sure it's with the Rock's schedule, but I'm really, really curious if months ago when this was being written or whatever, if we were getting more Rock involvement. Obviously they're doing they did the international tour, so maybe that was tougher travel wise, but you would think with the Rock being so intertwined with Cody and the Rock apparently supposed to be the mastermind behind Cena's heel turn.
Yeah.
I think I and everyone was expecting a little more Rock involvement, and even surprising we got Rock finally mentioned at the end of this 3rd promo.
Right, and he still didn't really say why the Rock too, or what he's gaining from the Rock's involvement.
He really just said he really just mentioned why he's heel is because he's embarrassed that Cody's in the spot and he's ashamed or whatever. But you're right, he still hasn't really mentioned what's the Rock doing to benefit you? What's been why did you? I get the heel turn. You could have done that without the Rock.
Yep.
So I don't know. And Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Hasn't mentioned Travis Scott since.
Yeah, right, but I'm would bet my bottom dollar that we see those two gentlemen at Mania in some capacity. Because now, if I'm under if I'm under the belief that John Cena will get it done at Mania, win 17, I think now for sure he's going to need help. Which now we might get another like bloodline rules type match where we see a lot of interference, and that could also set up with, again, there's a lot of like discourse about a third man because of The Rock's gesture with the thing, whatever. I remember I'd thrown out there Hulk Hogan, but I think it would make a lot more sense if it was an active performer, someone that is a face that would then do a heel turn. So maybe you can do Cody Cena Mania, the last few moments you would have. Rock come out to help. Who to combat The Rock? Randy Orton. Who's Randy Orton feud with? Kevin Owens. And then out comes, we haven't seen him in a long time, Sami Zayn. And then Sami Zayn.
Yeah, right. What the fuck's been Sami?
There's some rumors that he needed time off or whatever. Yeah. But Sami Zayn could be the one to be the third man. Interesting. And I think like if there is a third man, which again, like going off complete speculation, I think it'd be important that is an active performer and someone that would show up every week. Because my thing with Cena, like he's not. I don't think he's. Again, this is all just his scheduled tour dates. Like he's not scheduled a lot after WrestleMania. I think there's going to be him at Backlash. So yeah. Do you want to put the title on him? We'll see. But
what if? Walk me here. What if it's similar booking to last year where like, the match is happening, then you get The Rock to come out. The Rock's whipping Cody. Someone else to combat The Rock. We got Roman Reigns siding with Cody.
Wow.
That sets up, and they ideally they don't really have much consequences to the end of the match. They fight off each other. Maybe they fight each other and they leave whatever setting up WrestleMania 42.
Yeah.
Roman Rock.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did
that.
Right?
I mean? Woo.
Also,
we're getting to fancy booking here, but still.
I'm sorry. I'm chock full of fancy booking. Also, too, who's in the Las Vegas area accepting, the Hall of Fame match thing? My boy,
Jimmy Wang Yang.
Jimmy Wang Yang, no kidding. Wow.
That's what I heard.
Shout out Jimmy Wang Yang. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I also heard that.
So maybe because again, I think right now my hopes of Cody retaining are very slim now. I think if there is a world where Cody retains and we do get some interference, maybe Stone Cold will be the one to help Cody overachieve The Rock and John Cena. So fingers crossed.
So
that was supposed to be it last year.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people love Mark Calloway, but I would have really lost my mind if the glass shattered.
Selfishly, like I think it's also because I being there in the crowd.
True.
The gong was perfect. I'm also like I started watching in like 2005. So like I'm like Undertaker to me is the greatest of all time. It's like to me it's Undertaker versus Stone Cold, and it's strictly because like that's who I like better.
Sure. I mean, there you go. It wasn't a bad replacement by any means.
When I heard, I say this every single time. I should probably stop telling the story on the podcast. But when I heard that fucking gong hit and the lights went out, my soul. I say this every time. My soul left my body. Yeah, I lost my shit. But it did. But believe me, I'm the first to admit that. Like, it would have made more sense for Stone Cold. You know what I mean? I selfishly just like had way more fun.
Hell yeah.
But like selfishly, like that glass shattered and would have one made more sense and two would have been electric.
Maybe we'll get it this year.
I don't know. Maybe. Okay. We are an hour in, folks. I told you this is gonna be a long one, but we have the rest of Raw to run down here. Nothing else was like as the main event was good, but nothing else was like as crazy. Oh, but no, the Gunther shit was. Anyway, sorry. Let's just go ahead and into it. New Day.
Jimmy Uso died.
That shit was crazy. But before that, we had New Day versus the returning Tyler Bate to reunite New Catch Republic, which now kind of makes sense why Pete Dunne has disappeared from the IC title and his feud with Penta. My takeaways here are, holy shit, this isn't news, but a nice reminder how fucking good Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate are. Tyler Bate specifically is so refreshing to watch wrestle. He's so light on his feet. He's fluid. He's creative. Then at the end, it looked like there was some weird timing issues for when Cody was supposed to take off Bate off the apron.
Cody?
What did I say, Cody? What did I say? Kofi.
Yep.
Kofi Cody. Cody Kingston. It looked like some weird timing instance with Bate trying to take off Kofi from the whatever, leading into the New Day picking up the fairly clean win. My quick immediate takes here. One, New Day needed the win for sure. I don't know how much I love it against a returning New Catch Republic. I love New Catch Republic. New Day needs the win, especially against a credible team, especially if they're in the tag team division. We got War Raiders teased at the end of it, if that's going to be the match, or they're at least involved at Mania. Like, they need these credible wins. They're still the New Day at the end of the day. But my take here is I think this was supposed to play into New Day's like heel tactics, right? This was supposed to be a pretty dirty win with like Kofi interrupting and like them getting the upper hand. If you really looked at it though, Kofi and Tyler Bate weren't the legal men during this. So like Kofi just took out a non-legal man off the apron and then got tagged back in. They did their move on Pete Dunne or whatever. This was like a clean win to me. Sure, a little bit like, I don't know. It wasn't even dirty. I don't know. I don't, that to me, that's how it came across, is like, it's supposed to be a New Day heel win with like some cheap tactics or whatever. And if you really look at the rules though, it was pretty clean IMO. I don't know.
I hand up. I missed this match. I'm being honest.
That's funny.
It was very short. No,
it was short.
What the hell? Because I immediately, the Cena and Rhodes promo ended and went to commercial. I immediately hopped in the group chat and started arguing with a bunch of people.
Funny.
people telling me I'm a Cody lover and I'm this and that, and like I got to take my Cody sunglasses off and this and that, which fair after going back to that promo and rewatching it, maybe so. But and then I look up and the New Day won. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wait, New Catch Republic, like what? Like, and then
I think they went into commercial like once, but like, it wasn't like an extensive thing. Plus, if you're in the trenches, arguing, I could see time fly.
I was fighting for my life.
Either way, though, I wouldn't say necessarily like, it's not like a match to go back and worth watching for sure. But yeah, it was like I said, it's a solid win. I think more importantly, though, the discussion here is like, it's the discussion we're having with every single tag team belt or mid card belt. What's the Mania match? New Day called out the War Raiders to end it. They got a little stare down. Are we doing straight up 2-on-2? Are we going to lead into a multi?
They're not getting to Mania.
New Day?
New Day, the tag team story. I don't think these set of tag team titles will be at Mania.
I don't think that's crazy. I think like also every single week something like this happens, and it's happened a lot with like the Penta story with the IC belt, is I'm like, all right, that's the Mania match. And then like a couple days later they announced like this match, like I'd put money on that next week we're getting New Day versus War Raiders for the tag titles.
I think it has to. I mean? Absolutely.
So as much as I'm like, that's gonna be it,
and like I just don't get how much like I feel like they've really watered down the New Day heel turn. I think they had so much momentum in that initial heel run. I'm genuinely curious if like maybe like Big E was maybe scheduled to start coming back, and maybe there's some kind of pushback or like maybe delayed or whatever, because it kind of really makes no sense. Like I feel like the New Day, their initial heel turn was so special, and it kind of got the attention of a lot of fans, and now it's just been like really watered down. And now they're just going for the tag titles, which I think they'll probably beat the Viking Raiders. Maybe?
If they were if it was at Mania, I'd say yeah. If they just have it on Raw, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't. It's a tough call.
We'll check it out though.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they do put this on Mania. Like you put it. I don't know. Does Mania still have a pre-show? Does it have a pre-show at Mania? I don't think so.
I don't think so anymore.
Damn. Well, this would have been the pre-show match for sure.
Well, there's 2 nights. There should be room. Even though
2 nights, 2 pre-shows.
Triple H does like to keep a nice small card, 5 matches. Yeah.
So but here's the thing: 2 nights. There's only 1 true pre-show.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Hold on, if you're calling night 1 the real pre-show, or as more show it should be, night 2 is not the real pre-show. That's or whatever. All right. Then we led into Jimmy Uso versus Gunther. So many more notes here than I thought I was going to write. We got a lot of offense for Jimmy. There was he put up a fight. In there, he got a couple of super kicks in there, and, as he does, Gunther drop kicks and power bombs Jimmy, pins him, picks up his head at the 2 count, keep punishing him, clothesline, pin, picks up his head again. Gunther chokes out Jimmy to win, bada bing, bada boom, dub for Gunther. That's not all. Gunther chokes out Jimmy again post-match. Jey Uso runs in for the save. Jey keeps on attacking Gunther. Gunther runs away. Initially, before we get to the rest of it, hated that. Hated Gunther running away like a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
Which again, it's what, like, I'm fine with it. It's how they've booked him for his world title. Like, Intercontinental Champion Gunther would have never ran away.
Oh God, no.
So like I get you have to make Gunther look maybe a little scared or unsure of himself to help Jay's probable cause, if that's even the phrasing, to win the title. But I don't love seeing our Gunther scurry away.
It
from
really
a fight.
lowered my guard though.
Oh yeah, big time. That's why. So at the time I didn't like it, and then Gunther comes back in, attacks him from behind, is beating down Jimmy and Jay, ends up zip tying Jay's hand to the middle rope. He's beating down security guards, powerbombs security guard onto the steps, and then starts laying into Jay. Cracks Jimmy's head open with the title. Jay is just watching. Jay is bloody. He's dripping. He's beating the shit out of him. Powerbomb, lays in a couple punches. The whole time he's like teasing the title in front of Jay. He's showing Jay Jimmy's bloody face. He's saying, "You're this is your fault. And this is like you can't beat me." And and which this is Gunther. This is Gunther, right? He's a sicko. He wants to beat people up. The image of him just holding Jay's bloody head. He takes Jay's blood and wipes it on. He even tastes it and spits it out. The ending shot where he finally chokes out Jimmy again, right in front of Jay. Jay's screaming, and he was covered in Jimmy's blood. He looked like an animal. This fucking rocked.
WrestleMania. We're back.
Yeah, man.
We're back. Let's go.
And I get this. I'm not even like necessarily defending the build to this feud. I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it more than I think the majority of Twitter. But this was, and I get like the argument now, like this should have been what we've been getting the whole time. Sure, whatever, blah blah blah. We have it now. We still have weeks to go. If you're not invested, not just to say what I tweeted, if you're not invested or even enjoying this a little bit after that promo, I don't know what you're watching.
See ya.
I don't know what you're watching. I don't know. I don't know what you like. This was awesome. I fucking love this. What did you think?
To go back to the match real quick, I love the trope of the heel refusing to get the pin and delivering more damage. Good. Gunther is back. I love this beast mode version of Gunther. I thought it's maybe so far possibly segment of the year. The power bomb with the official on the steps.
Yep.
Just absolutely cinema. And what I immediately thought of was the build WrestleMania 25, where they kind of, I love how Triple H and Shawn Michaels, they have the pen now, and they love to do callbacks to their old feuds. And I immediately thought of Triple H being handcuffed to the ropes and a prone Stephanie McMahon there.
So good.
And then Orton gave a little kiss on the cheek, which I tell you what, Gunther tasting the blood a lot more intimate.
I would say so.
I immediately spit it out.
I would say so.
But just like to see Gunther in basically just be a horror villain like Jason Voorhees, he's slaughtering up some teenagers was amazing. I would like to have seen more. Your boy Jason Jordan there, just sitting on his thumb. You mentioned him last week, and there he is, and I think he was wearing like a blue whatever. I would like to see more security trying to stop Gunther from literally killing a man.
Yeah.
But it eventually ended whatever. And then I think Jey Uso. I remember from that Triple H Randy Orton Steph thing, like Triple H is like overacting. I
remember him like his hair going crazy,
spit going crazy, completely overacting. I would have loved to see the same from Jay. I think Jay kind of didn't really find his I guess footing, you could say, with the emotion.
There were definitely like moments and spurts,
like towards the end,
but it didn't
I'll
keep
kill
up.
you. Like, that was like, okay, I believe you now. Like again, if that was happening to me, I'd kill Gunther too, or probably die trying. When you use blood and you use it effectively like this, I immediately go back to, I think it was like Brock and Hogan in 02, where Brock Lesnar wiped Hogan's blood on his sweaty chest and just make like, Brock Lesnar is an actual supervillain Thanos. Or even more recently with MJF and Punk, there was a time where MJF was wearing an all white t-shirt, kind of tricked Punk into thinking like, oh, lower your guard, and then delivers one of the grossest beatdowns of bloody mayhem I've ever seen, and like that really stuck with me. I love when blood tells this epic story, and I think this feud definitely needed it.
And I was shocked because like Jimmy and Jay are definitely like they're the wrestlers right now. We might talk about this. Like they're the wrestlers for the kids, right? And like I like them. I'm not saying that like I dislike them. But like that Yeet. So the Yeet merchandise is like the kid. It's a cool thing to see. I've seen videos
put
like
Jey Uso in Fortnite.
Yeah, right. So it was that much more shocking to me that this was the feud, and like to my, I guess, delight, that this was the feud that got gritty and bloody and gruesome, as it should be with Gunther involved. But yeah, I loved every second of this. I'm excited to see now where they build on it. And if this isn't the fire that's lit under Jay's ass, like what, you know what I mean? So off bat though, I guess with that said, I think you might have, I might have seen you give your 2 cents on Twitter. As of now, I guess we'll probably ask you the same question every single week up until Mania.
Sure.
Who's winning this match now? Jay, Gunther. Who do you want, or who like want and should can be different things.
Sure.
So who do you want and who do you should?
I think very selfishly and egotistically, what I want and what should happen is the same. I think Gunther needs to I want Gunther to dominate Jey Uso at WrestleMania. I want him to paint the canvas with Jey Uso's blood. I think this whole thing, the storyline they're telling with Jey kind of having some hiccups here and there. Even production had a hiccup. They put the Jey Uso Titantron too early.
I didn't notice. That's funny.
Yeah, so they want to know what's going on. There's definitely something happening in the air around this storyline. But yeah, I think Gunther. And the thing is too, like again, Jey Uso didn't get the main event at WrestleMania, even though you're a Royal Rumble winner. Same thing with Charlotte, which I think is both Royal Rumble winners not getting main events is bananas. But Jey Uso did not get the main event at WrestleMania. Jey Uso now, kind of not to discredit him, but again, what's now gotten this storyline over the edge where it's peak interest now, his brother being attacked.
Yes.
So, and my thing is too, I want to keep the World Heavyweight Championship strong. I think that means to stick with Gunther for a crazy long reign and not put it on, again, I love him, but not put it on a tag team guy. Because Jey Uso to me is still a tag team guy. And that's not to say that, again, the chase is better than the succession of the dream. So maybe this could be a thing where, hey, Jay, we gave you a world title shot of WrestleMania, and through circumstances of the storyline and where things are going, we're gonna have Gunther end your light, so to speak.
Yeah, I think I still see like the image of Jay winning is still there in my mind, where the crowd's gonna go fucking bananas. Like say what you will, like Twitter hates Jey Uso now all of a sudden, but like it's undeniable how the other 95% of wrestling fans like Jay is the fucking man.
Right.
So like there's that where I would be surprised they pass up that moment, but also I'm with you in the sense of like I want Gunther to still be Gunther and be dominant and make the World Heavyweight Championship more prominent with a WrestleMania win and defense and go on and be like, see, you couldn't beat me. Main event Jey Uso couldn't beat me. I just don't know, because they are building Jey up so much, and I like Jey, that I would be at this point right now, I would still be surprised if he doesn't win.
Right.
But now it's way more like, coming closer to 50-50 for me. All right, we'll move on to, we got Penta and Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. First of all, it's cool to see Braun Breaker in a tag team match. To my knowledge, hasn't really wrestled in a tag team match on Raw, really. I don't know. I can't really
shout
think of
out the
anything.
War Dogs, though.
Yeah, man. Him and Penta. Him and Penta, fun team. Obviously, different styles, make a really fun team. They hit this fucking, I don't know, it's like a backwards, like Braun had whoever on his shoulder. It's like a backwards doomsday, and Penta came off the turnbuckle. That was cool.
Yep.
Finn, Dom interruption as usual to help Finn get the W. Braun Breaker ended up inadvertently spearing Penta, to which backstage they yelled at each other for. Finn hits Penta with a coup de grace and pins Penta for the win. The first time Penta gets pinned in the WWE.
Yep.
Later on, Finn tells the Judgment Day backstage that he is going for the IC Championship. And he's going to go to Pierce because he won the match. He pinned Penta. Penta, Liv kind of got in Dom's ear, like, what do you mean? And kind of manipulated him. And so she was like, oh, you deserve that spot. She's like, don't worry, I'm going to talk to Pierce. So maybe they're leaning now into Liv being more the catalyst
Behind every great man is a great woman.
Splitting JD, splitting Judgment Day and whatever. Overall, everything about this is solid. I think the IC title picture, whether it's we look to like you were saying last week, we do like the fatal 4-way with all 4 of these men. We do a triple threat. We do Finn versus Dom, and then Penta Braun straight up. Like whatever direction we're going, I'm enjoying it. As much as current day Judgment Day can be prominent and entertaining, like they're doing their best.
Yeah.
But overall, everyone involved here is great, and I'm having a good time.
I want my 4-way. I love the characters in the match.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, I think the reverse sling blade off the electric chair spot was crazy.
Yep.
And then I think the seeds for the 4-way are there at Mania. And
at this point, for sure, way more so than ever.
And I love the dynamic of the whole. No, there's no I in team, but of course Finn Balor never got that message because he won that match.
Yep.
And then the interaction with Liv Morgan kind of going to bat for Dom. So I think we're going to be sort of heading towards I want an IC title match. I want an IC title match. Like, oh, okay, you guys all want an IC title match. The 4 of you in a match. And the thing is too, I love Breaker and Penta's like little interaction before the match began. Like Penta's like going for that title, and Braun's we have something to focus on tonight. Like just like those large in the life characters like interacting, can they coexist? Like was great, and then ended up with a big spear for Penta. So now they have something to personally feud with about too, because Penta now lost that match, and, and of course Braun is still the IC champion. So there's definitely something to be said about that. And I think too now, like I already mentioned who I want to win at Mania. If there's a 4-way, Dirty Dom all the way. And two, like if he gets his title, and then I think there's a huge opportunity too, where him and his relationship with Liv could definitely turn him face. Because now you're going to have Dom be like IC champion for a while, still get that classic heat reaction. People love to boo him. But then Liv starts kind of manipulating him, kind of taking over his life, making these decisions for him. And him kind of going against that grain could then result in him, I think, being a mega baby face.
Yeah, like if that all leads up to him dumping Liv, everyone's like, whoa, and like there's a pop waiting to happen in that for sure.
I think Liv's great in her role too. So
agreed.
So I go Dom go.
All right, we'll move on here to we're gonna breeze by this, but AJ Styles Logan Paul segment. I don't know if I'm just like if I was just kind of if like I don't know if the other segments in the night were better. This isn't gonna touch Cody Cena.
No.
AJ calls him a douchebag. Logan calls everyone broke. That's like it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just.
They're both girl dads. Maybe they can form a tag team, like the girl dads.
The girl dads.
That could be a fire tag team. I will say the pulverizer, fucking sick finish.
Unreal finish.
Yeah, that was
so. I still like even watching it in slow mo. I don't know how the fuck he does it.
Yeah, it's
throws
insane.
him up in the air, catches him for a DDT. It's maybe like and I'm not a big Logan Paul guy. I've always said that like I can. He's impressive in the ring. I respect that, the work he's put into it, whatever. Right. And it's moments like that where like anyone on the Logan Paul spectrum has to at least be like, pretty cool finisher.
Pretty cool finisher. And one thing I appreciate about him is like and I think a lot of fans like us share the same sentiment about Logan Paul. He'll be he's a great heel in the reactions, and I don't think he'll ever become like a cool heel where people there's a huge thing of modern wrestling. Like everyone loves to cheer the heel, and they wants to
he
be
won't
the bad
be an
guy.
MJF. He won't be a Dom.
Right.
Yeah.
Like he will, and that's the thing. And like him and AJ Styles would be probably a great match at Mania. Of course, both men well known for their work in Japan. So there's that. There's that.
Right. Oh, I forgot about Logan Paul's stint. I'll have to get the VHS of that. This was fine. Like I said, I have the same sentiment as you. It was like the match is going to be fun. It's going to be better than I think people even expect.
I'm worried it might be like AJ's swan song too. Like
I hope not.
At this point in his career, I can see him going to AEW or go someplace else.
I've seen that rumor. I've seen people speculating like, oh, get one last run with AJ back with the boys. You know,
like it's his style of wrestling too. It doesn't make sense. I feel like so.
I don't think it's crazy. All right, we got Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley set for next week for the IC title. And again, it's similar to like all like the tag team division and all the mid cards. I said this earlier. Like we're all kind of dancing around like the official matchups or the multi women or whatever. Lyra probably retains over I don't know what happens. I don't know.
I tell you what's gonna freaking happen, man.
Talk to me.
There's gonna be interference.
Well, yeah,
because right now there's something plaguing the programming on WWE is the title matches on TV ending in disqualifications, which we'll get to very very soon. But even last week, I think it was Penta vs. Braun ended a DQ, and then so it's just, if you have a title match, give me a decisive winner, please.
I get it. It's Mania season. You got to get these people involved and give reasons. But I agree with you. I do prefer some. Let's get some clean wins.
Right. Even Lyra's win against Raquel, like that was like a cheap roll up.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
But that's next week. We'll move on to our main event. Talk to me. What do we got?
Also next week, El Grande Americano.
Yeah, I did. He said, what is it? It's Chad Gable's hometown in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Doctor's orders, and Chad's like, no, I'll be fine. Then I'll be fine.
Right.
Then. I'm really curious. I think they kind of teased it. To me, I got the sense of like a not mystery opponent. Well, I guess a mystery opponent, but like they're teasing who it's gonna be. They haven't announced who it's gonna be.
Right.
So I'm really curious who they pair up El Grande Americano in his second match of all time in the WWE. All right, we have Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for Io's Women's World Title. Bianca Belair is the special guest referee. We mentioned it at the top of the show. Bianca's look in the gear, plus the way she officiated this match, all of it spectacular, all of it really good. There was a sequence where they did a bunch of those that roll up one count pins, which I thought was a really good way to start out the match. A couple instances of Io and Rhea both in the corner hitting each other, and Bianca like pulling each other off, and a little muscle in there, maybe a little bit more for Rhea. I thought that was really good. A couple low points before we get to the high points. There was outside the ring. I was ready to jump off my couch if Io hit this poison Rana on the floor.
Yeah.
And unfortunately they slipped.
It was a good try.
But that would have been fucking sick. And then you move to the top rope, and it looked like maybe Io was going to go for the poison Rana again. Kayfabe wise, looked like Rhea blocked it, but it might have been like I saw like on Twitter someone dissecting it a little more. Like maybe it was Rhea called it on the spot. Like, hey, the poison Rana didn't work the first time. Like I didn't say. Maybe Rhea's not the best at like a poison Rana sell, or I don't know what the deal is.
Could have been a miscommunication too.
That too. So then Rhea kind of muscled her back up, put her on her shoulders, and then what I initially thought was like a Samoan drop off the top, but ended up being sold. I mean, Rhea landed on her fucking neck.
That was scary as hell.
And then
she went for the pin.
Yeah, it ended up being like that. Like the momentum was supposed to be Io taking her. I don't know what the move's called, but Io taking her and flipping her and whatever the fuck. So it ended up being an Io offensive move. It still looked fucking sick.
Crucifix slam.
Good pull. Yeah. Whoa, good pull. Those quizzes are looking scary. I'll tell you that. But yeah, so it looked devastating. I just kind of was confused what was happening. But I'd say after this, they kind of re-got their footing, because these two women, we've seen them together before. They have chemistry. It is unfortunate we just have a couple of these slip-ups and whatever. And then it's not gonna help when people are like, oh, you see, they can't main event because of this slip-up and but Rhea counters Io's top rope crossbody with a fucking headbutt.
I've never seen that before.
It's fucking boom.
That was awesome.
That was crazy.
That was sick.
Rhea hits Io with a massive razor's edge and then a running knee, which Io sold like fucking death for a 2 count. Io ducks a kick from Rhea that connects with Bianca. That was our first, again, it's similar to like the, it's a classic, oh, I didn't mean to hit you with the move and da-da-da. Rhea hits a riptide, but Bianca is on the outside and isn't able to count it. Finally gets in, 2 count. Bianca aggressively drags Rhea off Io, who's like beating the shit off Io to avoid disqualification. Rio takes a swat at Bianca. Rhea turns and ducks. Io ends up hitting a drop kick, which does connect with Bianca. So now Bianca's getting hit with everyone. All these inadvertent hits, which it's not inadvertent if it's a triple threat. Hint, hint. We're on the outside. Bianca's done with it. double disqualification. Fuck it. Io retains, and then the post match here, Rhea attacks Bianca. They go at it a little bit before Io hits a moonsault at the outside. There's a brawl that all three of them are hitting each other. Blah blah. Rhea hits a riptide on both of them. Goes back in, hits Bianca with what I'm calling a super riptide from the second rope. Rhea stands tall with the belt. I know there's a lot of notes there, but Rhea stands tall with the belt, and that we still don't have the match official yet. Contrary to my and popular belief. But yeah, so this was, I like this overall. Minus some of the slip-ups. I think they really got it back like afterward. And like, again, all three of these women have so much chemistry with each other that all of these like inadvertent hits, like really, one, fed into the triple threat, and two, showed like, given the triple threat, these three are gonna blow the roof off the place. So this heightened my excitement for the match. I'm curious what your takeaways and your 2 cents are, but talk to me. What do we got?
I thought it was a pretty solid match. I immediately was just like so drawn to Rhea Ripley. She looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
Her gear, like the outer of like the red,
like the spikes, the flames, or whatever on it.
The color of red it was. It brought me back to, for some reason, War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning.
Whoa.
Kind of a 05 like sci-fi movie.
Sick.
And all the aliens had like this like red veins. Like they were spread all over the world, and like that, I don't know why that looked just like it was on Rhea's gear. She looked amazing. So there was a few spots where that didn't go over well in the match, but again, like it was solid Monday Night Raw action.
Right.
These women are fantastic. I'm still laughing though. Adam Pearce booking this match. I mean, like, what do you think is going to happen, Adam Pearce? Come on, Bianca being the referee and all that stuff.
How is that going to make it more called down the middle?
Right, like he's so stressed out. It's like, dude, I mean, like you're going to throw in the woman that has grudges against both these women referee the match, and obviously, but it was still a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I had a fun time.
And then like what I love too is Bianca's face when she initially called the double DQ.
Yeah,
just like, oh my god, like the little mannerisms, whatever. And I loved her like her hair is kind of like little, kind of almost like Scott Hall does. Like
sure.
She just looked awesome, and like it was theatrical, and
even just like in the ref suit, like she's like for whatever reason, like I saw her in like the ref suit, and it's like, oh, she's fucking shredded.
Oh yeah,
like she's really torn, dude. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, this is I think it's funny you mentioned like the gear. One of my biggest takeaways is, I don't know, I clocked that Bianca was wearing Nike Blazers. Reffing this. I don't know how the fuck she wore I've had a pair of Nike Blazers, the stiffest, most uncomfortable shoe I've ever worn.
Really?
I don't know how the fuck she was running around and calling this match in Blazers, but that was one of the most impressive things of the whole evening.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so this was cool. I'm excited for when they finally announce. I mean, I'm sure we'll do another, I don't know, maybe we'll do another contract signing or whatever. I'm excited for when they finally announce the triple threat. I guess in hindsight, maybe it's better, especially with the other match getting the main event. Probably better that this match hasn't even been made official yet.
Right.
To kind of like, okay, well that was at least announced first, and it definitely helps. But yeah, Mania's shaping up. Like we were talking about it earlier. We were talking a lot about this match earlier, but yeah, I am also in the camp. Io is, to me, I think Io is the greatest women's wrestler. I guess in WWE, I can't really comment much on the Japanese scene, but Io is the greatest women's wrestler of all time to me.
And the crowd is 50-50 for them too. It was kind of Io and then Rhea and Bianca kind of getting the slack of it. But
it's hard to deny how, like we were talking about how big of a star Rhea is. Like I could absolutely see Rhea. Obviously, people, man, like I said, I deleted Twitter from my phone. I'm like pretty done with Twitter at this point, but like it's so crazy to see. Like I never would have thought that the crowd wouldn't be fully behind Rhea Ripley.
Sure.
The fact the crowd is like a little bit turning, or not necessarily the crowd, but like the online discourse is like, oh, what are they going to give it to Rhea Flair? It's like it's. I am shocked. It's an overnight thing. It doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I think that unless you have anything else we're missing.
No, I don't think so. I think
Cool.
we knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, this felt good. I think we touched on everything. Please leave your comments with your 2 cents on what you think of all these different topics. Head over to patreon.com/Stache Club Wrestling for a bonus wrestling Q&A. We're chatting over there. We're going to go for another hour or so. And then
I'm going to pop up Powerbomb John.
Yeah, right through this this thick ass fucking this table is just it's gonna hurt. So if you want to see that, check out the Patreon for $5 a month. You get the whole back catalog. Like I said, please make sure you subscribe, catch up on all our videos, and we'll give one to the camera. And we'll see you all week. We'll see you next time. Goodbye. I fucked with Wade Barrett. He blocked me. Yeah, I don't know if we said that on mic or not.
And Stache Club. And I watched Dynamite this past Wednesday for the first time in 2 years, and there's a lot to like.
I wouldn't be surprised if Wyatt Six and Alexa are left off Mania at this point. Give them a Raw after Mania debut or re-debut. I'm a Burn in My Light defender. Bro, I think it's his best theme song.
I've actually
it's better than Voices.
I tweeted to Orton a few times, like one time. I know you hate the song allegedly.
Yep.